bit, so I'm always going to back in the APAC South team. However, Talon have shown us in stage 1 of 22 what they're willing to sacrifice, what they're willing to do to make it to a major. They have already performed heads and shoulders above some of the teams that we may have expected. And it's their opportunity. Villa is where we start this best of 3. Kickstarting it with the Jackal ban.
Talon will look to back that up with their sole attack ban. Twitch off the board first. So Thatcher survives, double hard breach, or all hard breach rather, do also make it through the attacking ban phase. Quite intriguing here on Villa. As we head into the bans now. Mirror off the board first. I mean, pretty expected on this map. Quite powerful. That said, even at the moment with yellow ping meta, nades below, I wouldn't say she's overly strong, but probably an operator that you don't want to deal with just for the frustration factor and the fact that it will sync up utility. That leaves Elevate, obviously, for the final ban. They'll take their time. Force me to draw this out a little bit. And it's Valkyrie, who, again, post-nerf, super strong as black eye cameras, particularly indoors on Villa. There's a lot of spots you can hide them, so alleviates the pressure of having to potentially play an IQ to hunt them down. And across the board, outside of maybe the Twitch, ban phase pretty expected.
Yep. Defense, a little bit of that intel game is going to be diminished. So we'll wait and see what they pick into and how they decide to counter that. The big one for me probably is the Twitch ban in all of this. I mean, Jackal, you could probably give and take. I don't really know how I feel about Jackal bans. Like when we're still leaving.
I like them in ranked. Jackal's really annoying.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I feel like if you're Elevate, I can understand the Jackal ban for sure, because we know that on their defense they do like to roam on a Geary, you know, quite well known for just his general prowess as an individual player, let alone as somewhat of a roamer, can cause a bit of a nuisance. So I do get that ban, but it's the Twitch ban for me. You're leaving in all the hard breaches. You then leave in, you know, you're leaving in the Flores and the Thatcher. I'll be keen to see whether this is something that Talon have actually read into and kind of see Elevate using. I think we did see them use it a little bit throughout the playoff series so far. So far, so good. Focusing on this first round. AVG really needing to kickstart this with a bang is Elevate, because I think I would back in what Mandy was saying in terms of where this map's going to head. Talon should, I'm not going to say easily, but should easily be able to take this game.
Elevate on flip side, defending AVG for the first round in this match, and Talon going for a direct hit over towards Study Balcony. Soldier as well, prepping down below main door. Might look to need out the position that DCH is playing. In the meantime, he'll just drone and take his time. I believe there was a mute jammer placed below, so that might be a little bit annoying. Either way, though, deployable shield at top brown, I believe, has been cleared. In fact, it will be now with that Rotero. DCH under the pump.
Good thing, at least for Elevate right now, is Talon really haven't backed up on top of those Rotero drones. They're just using them to clear the utility. Now they'll start to put a bit of pressure toward DCH. Toms is the aim of the game here, as slowly and surely Elevate might actually back away, but I do like that from DCH. He gets aggressive, and the young gunner and Soldier is well and truly ready for it on it. Geary with the trade, makes it back up the staircase as well. He's barely done reloading before he peaks again. Very overzealous.
Unnecessary there, but Mark looking now for the late trade inside of Library, holding the bottom of this brown stairs position, trying to alleviate some of the pressure that the players on site may feel. Oh, he's been spotted though.
Wow.
Demic with info finds that pick, I can only assume, and now Talon with the 3-2 advantage.
Good read from Talon there. And honestly, big questions have to be asked from Onigiri. What are we doing continuing to push down Toms? Well, I guess just main stairs. You really should be either falling back or at the very least holding on the stairs, forcing Talon into a position where they're going to have to fight you. Look at the players still up for Talon, and Canos had an unbelievable impact in their best of 3 against Direwolves, obviously not being able to edge out in front of that, but regardless, 3 versus 2, 35 seconds left.
Demic from below looks to land a nade, the final in the pocket, but it doesn't land. Talon looking to get some control and some presence inside of Study. Demic might elect to rotate up top of red. He'll likely engage with Mr. Punch, who's low on HP. A lot of the pressure here on Sapper to clutch up big.
15 seconds to go.
Takes his time here, pulls a shotgun, gets a little bit closer as well.
10 seconds to go.
Problem is, Sapper, I don't know whether he's going to be able to hold this down. SMG 11 in hand, he does find Canos. Rotate from Mr. Punch, this is really good. Skull unattended, and it's done. Elevate, play the time perfectly there, and force Talon into those opening engagements. Lovely first round for the defense.
Yeah, Talon had the advantage, but just wasted way too much time trying to prep for that final push. A little bit disjointed. That bar position not cleared as Demic didn't hit the nade, and then that sort of fortification made it pretty tough for them to push in. The lines of sight pre-established in the prep phase. Well utilized there. Elevate probably escaping a little bit in that round, but they'll take it nonetheless. Rotate over towards Trophy Stat and try and double up.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
4-2 pass mark here for me, for Elevate. And this is definitely a map that can very heavily sway toward the defender side. And I think when you kind of look at the bans as well, I think it even reinforces that a little bit more in terms of the attacker bans. You know, the Jackal, you are allowed to roam freely. So I think we're going to see Elevate, once they get comfortable, I think we're going to see them kind of extend from the sites a lot more than in that first round. That felt pretty safe. Obviously you had Mark underneath looking for a library roam, and you also had Onigiri pushing down main, but I do foresee the need to waste time, especially when you're looking toward this side of the map. Like, you could really waste so much of the attacker's time. If you just show face and fall back, shoot some drones, this is where the game can get really spicy.
Talon once more, like the previous objective, going for a pretty head-on approach. This time, bedroom into stat. Plenty of tools in their arsenal. They were to go for this attack. Interesting that they're electing to bring Mav as opposed to maybe an ace to launch summons from the balcony. Hold that thought as Marcus Bathroom gets the first. A nice cheeky little angle to open up the account. Talon now on the back foot.
That was a lovely shot from Mark. Just a quick one and done. And now Talon, with the man down, have to be a little bit cautious about how they attack this site now.
Attackers have located a bomb.
You're a man down. Mr. Punch, Onigiri, pretty much on cue from what we were talking about. They will be well and truly extending. And what this allows Elevate to do is put a lot more pressure on the choke points, on the pressure points for Talon, which, you know, right now, bathroom, bedroom, this is pretty much the sole area of this attack. And with a minute 30 left, they'll be able to start to hit those check marks bit by bit and continue one foot in front of the other.
Now we get to see how powerful and how impactful the Maverick will be in this round. Aziz with a line of sight. Gets shut down.
DC
gets two, confirms the round essentially here for Elevate. Soldier tries to find a response, but there's nothing he can muster up. Now Demic in a 1 versus 5 outside of the balcony. 60 seconds remaining in the round, and it has been a disaster for Talon.
Absolutely love that from DCH. Doesn't get much better than that. Wide swing onto the hard breacher, and then a very quick second out by the window. And now Talon are just left kind of using the next 45 seconds, probably more so to think about what they're going to do. We see this quite often, you know, take the quote-unquote tactical timeout while the game still remains. Just start to talk about what seems to be going wrong so far. Talon seem to be not scrambling by any means, but it does feel a little bit disjointed in these attacks. And you want to try and get that under as soon as you can, especially against a team like Elevate, who, if Onigiri gets on a roll, boy, there's little that you can do to stop him.
Seconds remaining.
As the game slowly dwindles down now, it is all about what this next round will unfold. This is in the books for sure. We can rest and relax, as it's 2-0 up now for Elevate.
Mark starts it and he finishes it as well. Couple of nice plays from him inside a bathroom. DZH as well on the main wall. I think really exposing just the weakness of playing Maverick. I can't understand why you'd be playing Maverick on this side as opposed to at minimum Ace, potentially even Thermite.
Yeah.
Just ensure you're opening up these entry points. Now, it does have the weaknesses. Those rotations open up to the defense, but if your attack's tight enough, it's not really an issue. So, a little bit surprised Talon elected for that strategy, but again, Elevate on their toes, ready for it, able to shut it down and staring down the barrel of 3 straight, which would be a really nice start for them.
And a semi around the world. Definitely. That's a very... You'd have to be all smiles at that point. And I think that it is an interesting point you bring up about, you know, Maverick and the lack of an Ace or a Hibana. I mean, even if you bring a Thermite there, you're not really ever going to use it in that position. More so looking for those footholes, the murder hole in split and rotate. And more than likely, Elevate will turn into quite a top floor heavy kind of presence with Onigiri on the castle. I wonder where all those barricades have been. I actually haven't really paid attention as to where he's placed them, but nothing on the main doors. So I would dare say he's trying to slow down rotations over toward Mud, maybe China. Got a bit of support up on that top floor, so I wonder how much Elevate are really going to push into this top floor hold.
On the first 2 rounds, they've gone relatively direct, so would be relatively surprised if they went for a map sweep here. I'm expecting a bit of upstairs presence and maybe push through laundry, but some of these drones suggesting that it could be a horizontal take. You can see that's where those castle barricades are peppered around by Onigiri to try and counter that. And in fact, Talon looking to take a study across. So it's going to be a full map sweep. Something we haven't really seen them attempt as of yet. Soldier to lead the charge forward. And as you can see on the overhead, it's relatively free airspace at the moment for Talon to post themselves up. Elevate, despite maybe sometimes being a little bit over-aggressive, they're not really doing that at the moment. We saw what Onigiri over towards Brown maybe in the first round, but outside of that, for the most part, it's been relatively calculated.
Really good time management from Talon here. They make the call early. They've been able to sweep the entire top floor within the first minute, and now they're making contact from the first point of interest. Got to be careful here. DCH, that is a really awkward encounter. Canos does not make any mistakes on the entry. A quick double, and no one from Elevate is even close to responding.
Onigiri tried, but against the LMG, the UMP, not really going to do much. A little bit late on the trade, and now Elevate stranded down below, and you can see up above already Talon getting to work. They have the breaching charges, they have the sledge, and that hammer's so powerful. Nades as well can be sent down below. From this point onwards, it's Talon's to lose. They have 60 seconds to prepare for the push. The nitros from Elevate haven't hit the mark. This should be a relatively straightforward round. Now, Mark is flanking though, so he could be the potential win condition here for Elevate.
Certainly if he can get to the top of red. Really just a big question becomes when and where is his attention going to be put. Soldier just taking a little bit of damage through the vertical there. Good thing for Elevate, they've still got the information up with Pulse, but I mean, I don't really know how much he's going to be able to get done, especially with these vertical lines being open and established. Talon really just have so much going for them in this round. Mark, no clue as to where Hetty is, and this is done. It's over. Just move on. There's Mr. Punch. Certainly tries. Tries is the key word there, Guz.
Not really much of an opportunity to get back in towards that one. Too much damage done on the top floor too early into the round. The roam from Elevate doesn't work out. Talon with the first map sweep of the game. Pulls it off. Canos, what an entry. Quick one onto DCH, and Onigiri swung instead of just shooting straight away on towards that angle where he may have been able to keep it a 4v4 for at least a little while longer. Not meant to be though. Elevate now rotate back to AVG.
Maybe I'm looking at that a little bit too under the microscope, but it does feel like there's no way Canos should be able to make his way through to stat with such almost flawlessness. There's no hesitation whatsoever there. And sure, you're being live droned, so you get all that little additional information. But especially when there's 2 players from Elevate up on that floor, they have to be able to hold that down a little bit better. So if they ever do go back to that site, I'd be really keen to see how they tackle that top 4 sweep, because it was pretty flawless. But if Canos doesn't find both there, time wasted, maybe another player comes up in the form of Mark, maybe he's there to support. So I would dare say we won't see,
Locate a bomb and defuse it.
we will not be seeing Kitchen for another 3 rounds. So just hold on tight now. Back across to AVG, and really this was Talon's round to lose, and they lost it, guys. So provided they keep on the track of pretty much the exact same journey they were on in the last round, I feel like this should be an easier little sweep.
They did kickstart that previous attempt with a lot of good control over towards top brown. But on Aguirre, in the opening portions of this 4th round, drops Canos. That means there's no Adrenal Surges now available. That's an LMG off the board. A couple of nades as well. A lot of utility for Talon goes begging. They do still have the Flores though. You can see Aziz getting to work now with those Roteros, and his aim is going to be to clear these shields, clear this utility, but Mute Jam is getting in the way.
Yeah.
And it's also being actively watched.
I'd have to look back, but I actually think that that's where things faltered for Elevate in the previous round. Either it was a nade or some form of utility to get rid of those Mute Jammers that were on the study door. Really, it just impacted the round so much. And now you can see the use of the Rotero drones are really trying to come in and be a nuisance, but it doesn't seem like they've had a hell of a lot of success with it. ADS is gone, but Soldier, what's he going to do? Is he going to contest ECH once again? Tries to hold the line and will be forced to back away. All Rotero drones have been used now, so nothing for the side.
Up to Soldier to make a play. Needs to straight up win the 1v1 gunfight, but the smoke canisters forcing him back, stalling out the push. DCH holding down the line, swings downs one, swings a second time, but can't get that one. It swings the other way. Talon now at the man advantage.
Kill from Aziz. And Sapper goes down as well. Mr. Punch and Mark, the 2 newbies, have to step up here for Elevate. They really want this one slipping away, especially after the opening pick of Onigiri. Things looked pretty decent. They were able to stall out those Rotero drones, but things have really crumbled by the wayside. C4 in hand. I just don't like their chances in a 4v2.
You did see Talon struggle to push in last time though, and if Mr. Punch can maybe get a kill, get aggressive, could swing the back once more. Good angles in towards study here for Elevate. Mr. Punch probing but can't find much. Mark taken low, now 1 shot. Punch responds though, for 1. Needs to find 3 more, but it's the swing from behind and Talon get the round.
All too clinical from Talon there. Really well done to trade out efficiently. I thought DCH Toms was going to do a lot of damage, and unfortunately it kind of crumbles away after he finds that first down. Maybe overextends a little bit, as we saw Onigiri do in the very first round. Regardless though, the Roteros having their use and worth their weight in gold for the main stairs control, so you can't complain there. 2 apiece. We're moving across the trophy and stat.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Definitely feels like a lot of these rounds are seesawing in the sense that Elevate, they're either winning rounds off the back of I guess calculated aggression might be one way to phrase it, or they're losing the rounds off the back of that aggression. Whether it be they have the advantage and they throw it away trying to over-aggress and double down on that advantage, or having to force a play because they're not in favourable positions. Either way, Talon making the most of it. 2-2 at the moment, decent scoreline. They did just win AVG, the site in which they lost off the bat, showing signs of improvement, and if that flows on to the next couple of objectives, that's where Elevate start to get a little bit worried.
And we did say, you know, really 4-2, especially with a 2-round start for Elevate. 4-2 was kind of, for me, the pass mark that I needed to see if Onigiri and the rest of this team were going to have the impact enough to potentially steal it away from Talon. Remembering Villa is Talon's map pick. That was what I was looking for. I like the deployable shield on the A-bomb chassis. That's kind of nice. Pulls it away from bricks, where so often we see a lot of players contest toward Master. And the big thing for me here, I don't know whether you have mentioned this, guys, but obviously the lack of Maverick and the Habana being replaced this time around, I feel like this is a much better attacking lineup for this site.
Already boosted their chance to win the round significantly.
Yeah.
2 mute jammers though to contest at least on the triple wall, so we may well need to see someone from Talon go down below. Looks like that might be Demic. He can use his grenades to clear one or more of those mute jammers, just ensuring that he's not going to get flanked. At the moment, not a serious threat. I believe Mr. Punch is down over towards red stairs, but not really much of a concern at the moment. That allows the sledge now to hook these nades, a ping to assist. Might even get a kill here.
Oh my god! How is he alive? One of the jammers, in fact, hasn't broken off. And if he sticks around any longer, he may well have been to his own demise, but it's not to be. Demic, both nades used now. Still 2 more on Canis, but decent time efficiency here for Talon.
Yeah, it's not bad. Need to start working the triple wall now.
A bomb has been
Right on cue, it is opened up. Elevate are feeling the pinch a little bit. No serious engagements as of yet. Just DCH low from the earlier grenade. Onigiri forfeits Astro. Talon sense that. Will now move across, but Sapper retakes. Drones down below for Talon if they want to get those up the stairs and just confirm this position, but Sapper's snake in the midst, really. Behind these box positions, he either dies here or he gets a couple of kills, one or the other.
Really comes down to the efficiency of Talon's droning, and I like this from Mr. Punch. Thing is, you can't wait too long. Sapper's going to swing at the right time, but he can't find enough of the kills. Canos with a lovely shot. Onigiri with a quick trade as he pulls out a split.
located a bomb.
Heady, very quick to respond, and my god, it's just game of trades at the moment. Demic, I think they know that Mr. Punch is behind. Drone shot, and backed away he will go. With 15 seconds left here, Talon, they've got to make this work.
Oh, DCH. All but seals the deal. Canos force deep with the LMG in hand. But there's just too many angles to watch. Mr. Punch relocates up above and gets the round for Elevate.
Something we were talking about with, where Mr. Punch was at. Over toward Pantry, you can be quite a nuisance. You can be quite deadly and dangerous. But if you leave it too long, especially on Stat and Trophy, the impact that you can have is just, it's gone. If you do not kind of step into it at the right time, the whole point of the flank can just quickly be lost in the sauce. Very much so. But this is what we needed from Elevate. They've now kind of brought that little momentum swing back that Talon was seeming to have. And locking this out in a 4-2 half would be right on cue for Elevate.
Well, it's 1-1 on this site. We saw Elevate open up their account with a win. Arguably, probably should have gone Talon's way. And then Talon themselves respond on the second attempt and actually, despite having a bit of a rough start, man disadvantage, able to bring it back. And it's a big round this. Elevate, if they win, half of the course, 4-2 Villa defense. And if not, though, a 3-3 scoreline, arguably favoring Talon heading into the second half. And
Attackers are moving out to locate a
I
bomb
think it's
and
probably
defuse
fair to say generally playing a little bit cleaner at the moment.
bomb located by attackers.
Still waiting for players really on both ends of the spectrum here to kind of step into it, step into the fold, have those massive impacts. I truly do look to Canis and on Talon and likewise for Elevate. I mean, you could take your pick really. Sapper could have been massive in that last round, but it was so quickly shut down. Like this from DCH, get up close and personal just to begin with. You just got to show face for a little while before you start to really put the emphasis in the pressure on. Nades now being used. Only one left for Canis.
DCH has been under so much pressure in these AVG attempts and unfortunately unable to cut down the Roteros like he did last time. That means the shield's now gone and he'll be pressured from this stairs position as well as the entry from study balcony, maybe even the window as well. He decides though to stay put. Mark supporting from library, so Elevate looking to aggress.
I really like this. I really like this, Mark. Has got to be so careful not to fall here. And he's just being pinched absolutely no shot. He's being done
Oh
through the drone
God.
hole. Of all things, through the drone hole. Love that from Talon. They had about 3 or 4 players converging on his point, and so far Talon are absolutely in the advantage.
Make or break now for DCH. Does he elect to stand his ground and try to cut back this attack? Or does he try to retreat to site? That doesn't seem safe either. Onigiri taking damage. DCH, he aggresses, but immediately shut down. Not going to be able to win that one out. 5 versus 3. Talon with a strong advantage and so much time remaining.
Oh my God, Sapper. Dry peeking down, classical. Got to be so cautious there. You fall, and so too do the 3 smoke babes in your pocket. Instead, buys a bit more time, which is really important for this part.
Rotero opens another entryway, further pressuring this position. Mr. Punch once more finds himself in probably the power position, but surely he'll be cut down. Sapper, only 1 gas canister now remains. 30 seconds left. Talon looking to converge.
Util game has been on point here for both sides, but Talon really have just absolutely minced through Elevate. 20 seconds, last smoke babe is used, and this could be absolutely devastating. They can't capitalize on it.
Sapper survives. Now close with the shotgun. Oh my. Onigiri elsewhere onto Soldier. It's falling apart for Talon, but Aziz bites back. Now Sapper, we go back to him behind the bar. Drops the first. That's Hetty. Looks for the second. That's Demic. Elsewhere, Mr. Punch gets in on the action, but Aziz commits to the plant. The push through from Demic is great. Now it's a 1 versus 1, but Elevate able to hold on. They lean into time, and they do a decent job in closing out the half.
Really lovely work there from Mr. Punch. And who was it? It was Sapper behind the bar, wasn't it? I think
Yep.
the smoke. Really, that is absolutely pivotal. The shotgun play, just being able to buy time and putting all the attention across to where the planner is. Mr. Punch able to kind of assassinate in many ways. And because the time is so low, it's just picture perfect. But I want to take it a step back. The use of Talon's util there was just so damn good for the first half of the round. And then when we got to, phase 2, phase 3, things really broke down for a multitude of reasons. So, just so many little pieces to that puzzle there that if one goes missing, completely different storyline.
Well, we've seen a lot of AVG so far, and we're going to see it once more here. Talon electing to head there for the first defensive effort. Probably expecting top round to be center stage once more. There's a deployable shield in the hands of Hedy, and he'll plop that down. Slight variation in position compared to Elevate. They sort of hugged it over towards the right near the railing. Hedy, though, will hug it to the left wall. ADS devices in the shadows. They'll be aiming to prevent any projectiles from clearing that shield. Interestingly, though, from Elevate, they're not bringing the Flores to counter that. We saw the Roteros be so powerful for Talon, but Elevate completely forfeiting that. Instead, they're bringing Blitz and a Capitao, which is not something we see every day in 2022.
No, not even remotely. Not even remotely. In fact, we saw it a little bit yesterday from Elevate, but I feel like it really did not have any impact of substantial value to the round. So definitely without the Roteros, things look a lot more interesting.
Oh.
This is a way to do it though, but everyone's falling around him, guys. It doesn't make a difference. They've just dropped 2 players and like flies.
The entry cut down. Had it still be a 5 versus 5, Elevate would have been in a great position, but DCH just sends it in towards site. Elevate have completely thrown this round. They go for the cheese strat. It has completely fallen apart, and even when they still had an opportunity to bring it back, they continue to throw. Very, very disappointing here from Elevate. Mr. Punch in the 1 versus 5. Elevate left to contemplate that round.
And please, I would beg them to as well. That is just so not good enough from Elevate. On the back of being able to break the momentum of Talon in that last 2 rounds in the first half, to then come into the second half and throw something like that out there, I'm just not a huge fan of it. And I understand the whole premise behind it. If that pays off, the tilt factor for Talon is unbelievable. Elevate get a freebie.
Well, the thing was, They actually achieved their goal of not having to play the util game on top round. Elevate don't really thrive in that environment, right?
Yeah.
Where they have to dump utility and get that timing down pat. It's really not one of their strengths. So it worked in that sense. It was just Talon was so switched on and cut them down at the knees at the study entry. Which meant that... Sorry, I almost just fell over.
Yeah, you almost carked
Which
it.
meant that even when they had top round control, it was for nothing. And yeah, so a little bit disappointing. But you look at the half glass, the glass half full side of that story, and Talon, they weren't shy. You know, they backed off and forfeited top round, but then their other players on site switched on. So it was really nice.
Which, in stark contrast to what we saw from Elevate in 2 of their 3 defenses, they kind of doubled down on Brown. You know, you saw DCH multiple times take fights that were unfavorable at the best of times and then continue to push on. Aguirre in the very first round ran all the way down Brown. So very much 2 sides of a different coin, 2 sides of the same coin, sorry, and just showing the kind of effectiveness of how you decide to play. And that round in particular does make me worry a little bit for Elevate here.
Well, they've given up on the cheese in the second round, right? Flores now back in play. Habana as well for the triple wall. Sapper, interestingly enough, going on to Ash. I guess still some opportunity for those explosives to get into play. But doesn't really see a whole lot of play time at the moment when you have Zofia LMG. So I guess it may well just be a comfort pick there for Sapper 3 speed as well, so it can get a little bit aggressive in the faces of Talon. At the moment, though, Elevate on the balcony. On Aguirre with the quick entry. Needs to be mindful of maybe a Nitro down below, but it doesn't look like that's being occupied by Talon. Over the wall goes a grenade that clears it. Really well played by Elevate. I'm sure Mark will come alongside quickly with X-Kairos to open up that wall.
Really, I mean, considering there's only a minute gone, this has been rapid. They have really not mucked about in taking this control. Onigiri is going to be so careful in this position. Overextends toward Brick and you will be punished. God, he loves that weapon. And it I'm sorry, but I feel like in a prone position where you are completely stuck, you are going to be punished. Have they even got the triple wall open yet? No. Oh my word.
Mark's dropped off the balcony as well, so I don't think Elevator are even going to worry about the triple wall. I guess they only have 2 X-Kairos remaining, so pretty tough to make a move from here. Everyone will just wait for these players to line up. It's a 2-2 split for Elevate. 2 over towards the south and 2 a little bit closer by the objective down at the northeast.
That's really gnarly. That had to have been, in that case, had to be the Electroclaw that just completely deleted all of the X-Kairos on there. And because that nade had been thrown over previously, I am certain Soldier had pocketed an Electroclaw. So really, really love that from Talon. And now Elevator scrambling. They've got no info whatsoever. They've only got 2 drones available. And with 40 seconds left, I don't think this is enough to work with.
They're still droning. The game side of the map, Elevate, don't know if it's clear. We have the privilege of the outlines and know that it is at least up to Skull.
Oh,
that's where Demic's ready and waiting. He gets the first. It's a down onto Sapper, the Nitro. In response, the boost actually picks Sapper back up. Heady elsewhere drops 1, and the Demic is traded. Soldier gets his second. Now Mark and Mr. Punch, they need to try and push through, but Soldier wins that fight. It's a 1 versus 1. 10 seconds remain. Mr. Punch has the diffuser. He has a little bit of time to work with. Canos. He's patient. He pushes forward over towards Astro. Mr. Punch needs to stick. Canos needs to swing, but he swings the wrong direction. Mr. Punch, he bounces back up, holds down the line. Canos to swing, but against the LMG, he's not winning that one. And Elevate somehow make that round work.
That's unbelievable. If you had told me with 40 seconds left, I would have said write the round off. Don't care about the man, like I don't care where the round is at, a 4v4. I think in this position, it's done for.
I mean, what is going on? Like, Demic's in such a good spot, right? He gets the down, then Mr. Punch activates the adrenal surge. Sapper's back up, then the swing from Mark. Soldier was one shot, but then eventually got traded out for the 1v1. And then Mr. Punch, I mean, Canos just swung the wrong way.
Yeah.
Simple as that. If he had swung a little bit further out to the left, yes, time would have been really, really close, but I would have doubted Mr. Punch would be able to get his aim back up and hit the shot. So it's just small little micro adjustments like that throughout the entirety of the round, really, that did cost Talon. Credit to Elevate, though. Backs against the wall, triple wall not open, still made it work. And Mr. Punch as well, 11 and 3. He's been on fire.
I was just about to make the comment here. The two young gunners, one for Elevate, one for Talon. I mean, Mr. Punch is really stepping up at a moment of need for Elevate. He's only died 3 times out of a possible 8 rounds so far. That's pretty damn good. And then I look to Soldier, who has had small impacts that have really kind of accumulated into a little bit more of a polished look on the KD ratio. But at the end of the day, I think Elevate are a little bit fortunate there. I think that the game, again, at the start, is played so perfectly from Talon. And then it's just when push comes to shove, when it's really about who wins their ones, it just crumbles.
Yeah, Talon have... They had the foot on the throat, honestly, after that first round. Elevate went for the cheese play and completely failed. Then had a disadvantaged position, and Talon didn't quite make them pay. Right now, if we were sitting at a 4-4 scoreline, Talon with a bit of momentum, very tricky to see Elevate starting to mount a comeback of their own, but they do alleviate that a little bit. Penultimate match point as well already for Elevate. They find themselves in a pretty powerful position, and again, if Mr. Punch can continue to step up on that Finker roll with the LMG, it's going to be hard to shut down Onigiri. Uncharacteristic of him to be quiet. 5 and 7, but he gets the first pick in the 9th round.
He's had 1 or 2 opening kills so far this game, and we've seen the impact in this playoff so far as to how crucial they can be. One thing I was going to note for the defensive talent is I much prefer the lineup that they're bringing versus the lineup that said Elevate were bringing on this exact same site. Just felt a little bit, I don't know, like something was missing. When you've got the, when you've got the Banshees, the Lucy Gadget, it works a lot better on that top floor hold because Elevate can't just do what Talon did, which is walk into stat and find kills. Although they may try. I'll say that. They may try.
90 seconds now remain. Elevate continue to converge on these positions. DCH finds Canos. Soldier up above. The X factor for Talon in this round. Hady's under so much pressure. He's not going to be able to do much, and I don't think Demic's really in play either. It's up to Soldier. Up above, but the pressure's horizontal. Heady forced to swing. Heady's taken low. Sight, he's cleaned up. Soldier forced to drop. Mark for the plant, but it's a 1v5. He gets 1. Mark off the plant. Soldier low though, and Sapper able to get that one.
Just goes to show, doesn't matter how good your idea is, how good your operator selection phase is.
You were hyping them up there, Rob.
I was, because I much prefer, the Aruni to the castle, especially on something like that. I think that it's a far more efficient way, and it doesn't hinder the defense at the same time as it hinders the attack, if that makes sense. Banshees work perfectly, but it did not make a difference. When you're finding picks elsewhere, when you're finding picks early from Elevate, it just leaves far too short. I'm not happy with this situation.
They're under a bit of pressure. And maybe it's some APAC South bias, I'm not too sure, but I've seen Elevate play better than this. Maybe I'm on the copium a little bit, but this has not been their greatest game, and to be able to put up such a good fight against Talon, push it to match point already, it's got to be concerning. And then Skyscraper, a map which Elevate has had some really spicy close games of their own and shown promise. Talon, like you mentioned, the game of throws where they lost out.
That's so bad.
They could have been already in the major, right?
Yeah.
To go back and sort of relive that memory.
Oh, God.
I do not envy Talon at the moment. Now,
No.
again, we have to be slightly reserved. A 3-6 is not impossible to come back from, but that's a full rotation. They need to win a full rotation on Villa.
Yep.
And they haven't looked amazing so far. So things need to change up ASAP. Because the only round that they did win was the quote-unquote gift from Elevate, where they did the cheese strat and it failed.
Yeah. It's actually a really good point, considering this is the defense of Villa. This is just not hitting the mark to the extent at which we thought. But this is one thing with Elevate that has been and forever will be really hard to contend with. Surely they're not even thinking about it. Surely they're not thinking about it.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
I am B1.
Onigiri.
Oh, God.
He initiates the grapple straight into 90. The LMG holding down the long hallway, and the sound cue not strong enough. Talon have absolutely no clue. Aziz in the back of the head. Onigiri hunts for more, and there's no call. Onigiri's just in. He's in. He gets a second. There's a third down on the stairs. That means there's only 2 remaining. Elevate on the verge of closing out Talon's map pick. It's a 1 versus 5. It's a none versus 5. Elevate come out of the gate strong. They are pushing hard for this spot at the major. Map 1 goes their way.
What a strat to finish on. If we thought the first round of their attack was a cheese strat, what about that? All it was, the Dokkaebi call. Onigiri sends it through the